I've officially hit the record button. So hit me with it. Edgeshot under Void. This is version 2 of this deck, apparently. I hope we
Yeah.
get a quality version 3 now. Hit me with the
Yes.
pitch. What's going on?
Well, I wasn't really planning on playing Edgeshot until the first sneak peek. I pulled XR, and actually I pulled a lot of his support in my pull. So I was like, give it
Sure.
a shot, see how it works. And lo and behold, this is what me and my son have been playing around with for a little bit and need some help with to make it more consistent to take it to LCQ.
Yeah, love that, love that, love that. So the goal here is just consistency. That's what we're looking for?
Yes, as much as I don't like two checks, it's got a pretty good two check.
Yeah, this one's pretty okay in him. Yeah, let's look at it. So just double checking. This number currently 69. Love that for you. Is the goal to keep that number the same? Cut it down? What are you thinking here?
I'm open for it, but to be honest, there's been times where I'm going on a attack string and I'm drawing like 8 cards in my attack string, so it does kind of go down. But I'm open to cut it.
Sure. I'm down to cut it as well because strictly because we want to be able to draw that attack string quicker.
Yeah,
um,
exactly.
yeah, we want that to be just as consistent as possible. I'm thinking like if we could get to like a 66 card deck with this same 21 attacks, I think that we would have a blast. The Lurker's Strike. How often is this card relevant over something like Hardened Jab? Is
Well,
building a card out of your hand more better than jab building one?
honestly, I've been talking with my son, feedback back and forth, is that hardened jab is actually like a throwaway sometimes to
Interesting.
just build better on my turn 2 because I do have to check against it too.
Yeah.
But Lurker Strike and Hardened Chop rips 2 cards out of hand if they try to block.
Okay. So if they try to block, you make them discard a card, and then because you've reviewed an attack, they discard another card. Okay, that's pretty cool. My big thing about Hardened Chop is the fact that it is a 5-diff, and it
Mhm.
is fighting to be the opener. Same with Canyon Cannon and Fold Body Skewer.
Yes, that's true.
Which is like just like a little tough of like I have 3 different openers that I'm doing, but like Hardened Chop is like a poke, really cool. But if it's a poke, it's just a 5, maybe a 6 damage move with Edgeshot, because like the way that I get the stat pump is because I've played cards after these ones,
Yeah,
which is
and
like
to be honest, there's been lines where I've done triple a cannon and it almost killed somebody
yeah,
in one single detection.
yeah, because this card's messed up. This card's
Yeah,
fucked. So I want to take actually and just go look at the Void attack lineup. I just want to go take a peek. Right? It says
yeah.
that
I've been
Malthor.
looking at oh, what is it? There's a gentleman that's been playing it very well lately.
Barlow Guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Barla. Yeah, he's been doing very well. I've taken some things. I want to try to steer away from the 6 package. I tried it today with a friend, and it did pretty well. I love that. I'm Death Eraser one, so I'm
Sure.
used to doing those strings.
Yeah. I love that. Um.
Yeah, it's funny because version 1 had Velocity Rush on it.
Velocity Rush is a very cool card. I'm just trying to take a bit of a peek. Kick, punch,
Punch.
punch. There is an idea where this thing.
If
Oh,
I
now
can
I'm
afford
messing
that, yeah.
with the wrong. I don't have this set as my current deck, so I'm messing up his deck. Oops. Void attack, go. Electromagnetic bullets is one of the big reasons I think Barlow's deck works so well. It's just this thing being a 4-diff that just slings for 9, 10 sometimes is like
Exactly.
really, really good. I also like don't hate rewind throttle. And you said we were repeated's out?
Yeah, it's out of my
Okay.
price range, to be honest.
That is okay. Like the point of this is like you don't need repeated to go and win. You just don't, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Man, Slicer's so cool. Voidus has so many cool echo moves. It's just
Done
so
Eraser
weird.
1 on Void. I've done a few different Void builds, but looking at Edgeshot and all the other symbols, Void is a little bit easier to digest.
For sure. Yeah, Edgeshot is definitely Void is definitely the Edgeshot symbol. More 2 checks.
Yeah.
Okay. So when we take a look at like what could exist instead of this jab, I mean, it could just like instantly be replaced with electromagnetic bullets, right?
Yeah.
It's just like
Like-
it's a worse block, but if you're not using it to like build out on turn 2 because you're afraid of the 2 check, then you should use it just like to slam harder. Just to hit
Exactly.
harder. Yeah, and it also means that like you could take Harden Chop and drop it down to like a 2 of, and like cut a little bit of room. What's
Yeah.
the block zones look like here? Highs, mids, yeah. So like this could come here, and then we could just play bullets at the 2 of. And then block zone. Yeah. Yeah, this looks fine.
Right.
What's up?
Just looking at the number 20 attacks. Okay.
Yeah, I cut a chop.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, I cut a chop just because, like again, it's just fighting to be the opener with Skewer and Cannon. If we wanted to, as we look at difficulty, right? Like we still have Velocity Rush. That could be a chop instead because it's like it's 2 moves. I also like Twin Sword Slicer, but we already have decent enough low blocks with Plummeting Punch and Fold a Body.
I don't hate the chop for Rush.
Chop for Rush.
Is that what we're going for?
Yeah, it's just to like chop by itself is like a fine card, but we don't have a ton of face downs.
Yeah, and that's
especially on
another thing.
Turn 2, right? Like the best way to get a face down is just like calling.
Yeah, and then sometimes like that's just going neutral because it's not a committed.
Correct.
So.
Yeah. And then like what happens if that face down that we grab that we rebuild with chop is folded by the Skewer? Well, it's stuck there now because we just got rid of jab.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't hate that.
Yeah. And this is like more stats across the full turn. I'll put this in the sideboard so we don't lose it. This is more stats across an actual turn if we have a single momentum, which is the thing that we don't actually utilize inside of our deck. The only way that we use momentum is just Fold a Body.
Yeah, exactly.
If it's completely blocked. So like if I have 2 momentum, I get to do like imagine like it's such a sick turn to go Fold a Body. It gets full blocked into Canyon into Velocity Rush. So this is on the 6 on a 5 on a 5, and then this gets +3/+3. And then if it's blocked, my next one gets speed. That's fine. If it's not blocked, it gets damage. So it gets +3/+4 as the second one.
Yeah.
So this card by itself represents 13 damage.
Exactly.
Yeah. Pretty impactful. Or even just like review 1 with Edgeshot, 1,000 piece into Velocity Rush is 12 damage, 13 damage by itself. On a 4 on a 5 on a 5 if I have momentum, which is incredible.
Yeah, and that was another thing. Is like he only in the past he only had grabbed 1 momentum for full body.
Yeah. What's this card doing in here?
It was for making the full body and the cannons cheaper, and it's also a good deadlock threat.
Interesting. Have you not had an issue with checking this card on it on turn 1, or you just not?
No, I would usually hold it or I block with it and build it down. with
Upgrade it
Manly.
and build it down with Manly. Okay, I'm into that. I'm into that.
Yeah, because there's been times where, you play that, you commit it, your full body is a 4. You don't have to commit to pass the check, then commit for its enhance.
Sure. You got one in the main, one in the side.
Yeah, just
That's
for now, because I
acceptable.
don't have issues with speed so much.
I think it's
Because
more of just like breaker to get back to your turn, right? Like,
true. And seeing that we did cut the hardened chop that has a breaker, it could go back up to 2 in main.
yeah. I don't know. I like barrier shield. I think the barrier shield's like really, really good.
Hmm.
But we'll have to see. I'm not
I
seeing
mean,
any other actions assets that are necessarily worth it.
no.
Elasticity after an attack is blocked. Next turn gets plus. Okay. Internet sensation is cool. Have you tried Barlow's list?
I have. I tested it. I think it was yesterday with it, and I do. Previous Nomu player, so I know the back alley build stuff and whatnot. So it's kind of free real estate for the 6,
Yeah.
especially when you can
I like
build
his list
in
a lot.
the pass through walls.
Yeah, I like his list a lot, and I think that there is something to be said about like he just taking his as a blueprint and then changing up the foundation lineup a little bit,
Yeah,
and like not
because
trying
I
to
like to be.
reinvent the wheel. But it
Yeah,
just
I
really
kind of
depends on like
like
how much
being
you like Folded Body Skewer over Titan Cliff, right?
exactly, and that's the thing is like I'm more. I gotta get past the mindset of trying to string out OTK versus poke, 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 and
Yeah.
then go in for the kill.
Yeah.
Because my background is Yu-Gi-Oh! It's all about OTK and being done.
Yes. Yeah. 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 That makes sense. Um, yeah, it does look like you've got a pretty, excuse me, a decent enough. This card's just good. A
Yeah.
decent enough. Oh, I think this card is very cool. Into the Fray. I think this card is neat.
Or diff. That's the only thing that discouraged me. A 4 diff.
I mean, you've got a 3-diff, right? The difference between,
Yeah.
if you're willing to play a 3-diff in your 2-check deck, then you should be willing to play a 4-diff in your 2-check deck, right?
True.
If the idea is like, oh, I'm just not going to play this on turn 1, if you have that self-control, then this card just says that this card is a 3-diff.
Yeah, true.
Right? And it gets 3 speed. It's a 6 for 7. 7 for 7.
Yeah.
7 for 8 as the first move, right? Or, it says your Candy Can is a 2-diff, right? It's just like the idea.
Yeah. And then with the whole practical studies, he's going to be faster too.
Practical studies, it gets faster. Yeah. So like I don't hate it. Maybe it is a worse version than what you're trying to do with more power, just because it's a destroy. Still with a block. It doesn't have the deadlock. Yeah, your more power is probably. They're definitely in the same idea, the same boat of like these cards are doing the same thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah, maybe not. Kirishima's Assistance, I think, is really cool in a deck like this. It says that you don't get breakered. It is that same idea as pass through walls, right? But it's a 1-diff, not a 2-diff.
Sure.
Especially if like, are you playing any mids? No. Yeah. So the best breaker blocks they have are all mid blocks.
Sure.
And so that means that this is just like a 1-5 as opposed to the 2-5. The other option is you just play both, and then you'll just never be breakered ever again.
Sure.
Obviously, it doesn't stop barrier shield. That's where your pass through walls comes through. But like, you can use Kirishima's Assistance. It also stops things like face shield, right? They face shield you, and you go
Yeah. I like that idea. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Um, Daunting Message is a decent enough card.
It was. I just have a problem between getting to that low point of half. It's either half or it's more than that.
Yeah. First Impressions is pretty funny in your deck. Just because, like, giving this thing more speed is pretty cool. That's, like, the second move, right?
Yeah.
So, like, the first thing you do is, like imagine giving this thing plus 3 damage. So it's a 3 low for 11 that if it's fully blocked, it clears. And then this thing gets a bunch of speed. And then you start reviewing. And it's the face down card for you to just instantly commit for full to body's ability.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's like a cool one of. But is that better than like what Unexpected Hero does? Because you can do that same idea. It's just like Unexpected Hero doesn't give the next one the plus 3 speed. But like doing that same play there is like pretty cool.
Defensive option than it is offensive option. I think that's most of my foundations is more defensive than offensive.
Sure.
And
I just care about killing people. I mean, this guy wants to kill you, right?
Exactly.
That's his
And I
whole-
think
his
that's
whole
what
deal.
And I think that's why I'm trying to be more like respectful of decks to be able to, if my plan doesn't work out, I can have something to fall back on. But I think I fall back on too much of defensive.
Sure.
Because like for instance, like watching the previous one, all worked out can be something cut, even though it's kind of funny that I can review it and have 1 damage, but it's not necessarily did.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
Red
destroy
Riot.
plus 1 of your check is pretty okay too, right?
Exactly, and that too. And then Red Riots was in there for Deadlock, and it worked with the other hardened stuff, but we don't have that anymore. But it's for damage as well. But
Yeah.
so Unexpected Hero can come down to fit in that.
No, I like Unexpected Hero a lot. No. I think this card is very good in your 7 hand size characters that needs to block, because this card also just says like if it is up and my opponent has discarded cards, right? Like you only need to make them discard like 1 or 2 cards in order to like have a potent enough turn, because your moves are gonna get big. They have to block. So like
and if they don't block, it just gets more out of hand because it's getting more speed.
And if they
with
discard,
each review.
You can also just commit and draw a card. This card is passing the torch as well inside of your deck.
Yeah.
1 second. Man, this is tough. It's tough. I think I'm not positive on seeing anything in like the attack lineup that is like necessarily incredible, right? Or sorry, not the attack lineup, the foundation lineup that like we missed, right? Like it could be mediator, but then like you'd have to play other actions instead of whatever, right? So like it might just be that like, hey, I'm supposed to just cut this down to like 65 cards and then run it. 64, 63 cards.
More optimal options than the newer cards, like more power versus the other card you talked about.
Into the Fray. I still think more power is probably the right answer, but it's probably just like a one of, right? Like we don't need 2 of it. You never want to see 2 of this card on the board.
No.
Like yeah. And then like we could take out like the all works up. You just don't. I don't think you need this card. I think this card's super cute. I think calling for backup should be a 4 of in your deck. That card's super good. I think you should cut Gotcha down to a 2 of.
Yeah.
Put Manly up to a 3 of. Look, we got a card.
Yeah.
64.
Yeah.
Block zones still look good. Honestly, if we really wanted to, we could cut Gotcha down 1 more. I think that you are afraid of quality builds, even though you've got the 2 check. I think you could just like run it as is, you know?
Yeah, and the funny thing is, going second with this character is so good with you because you could just build like your whole hand.
Yeah, it's very easy to do. But yeah, this might be where I'm at. Again, I really like Velocity Rush with this. but I would keep two versions of this deck sleeved up. One as like this attack package with the Folded Body Skewer, and I would keep trying Barlow's version and like make some small modifications to him. It's seeing success, and if the goal is to win, then like take that launching point of this is obviously like a decent enough idea. And if anything, like the Folded Body Skewer has the same stats, right? It's a 6/3 2 low block as the 6/3 low block as the Titan Cliff. You could sideboard like 2 copies of Folded Body Skewer, so like your main boarding, like you just take his list and just like take out 2 and 2, right? So you can get that same idea.
Yeah, and then if I like one over the other, then we can make that cut.
Yeah. Yeah, but like take his list and put your spice on it with the more powers and such, you know?
Gotcha. Yeah, and then like unexpected heroes and stuff like that. Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Well, with that said, good luck with this list, man. I think this character is very, very cool. He pumps a lot of damage.
Oh yeah.
And I'm excited to see what you do with him.
All right. Well, thank you for your time.
You're very welcome, buddy. Stay on the line long enough for me to shoot you the list, and you have a good rest of your night, okay?
You too. I feel better.
Thank you.